You spend the first half of your life collecting things. The second half, you discover the things have started collecting you. They collect your time, piece by piece. Every weekend you spend dusting them. They collect your energy, every ounce of strength it takes to move a box, just to find something else. They collect your freedom, whispering a constant list of chores your aching body will have to perform tomorrow. We're all told to save money for a comfortable retirement, a golden age of peace. But no one ever warns you that the greatest threat to that comfort isn't a lack of money, but a surplus of stuff. Your home stops being a sanctuary and slowly, quietly, becomes a ledger of obligations. It's not full of precious memories. It's full of future tasks, a physical manifestation of a to-do list that your spirit and your knees can no longer bear. Today we are not going to talk about organizing. We are going to talk about ceasing to be a slave to the things you once owned. In the back of my garage, on a pegboard my father helped me install in 1978, hangs a set of beautiful wood-handled chisels, German steel. I can still feel the satisfying heft of the half-inch mortise chisel in my palm, the way it felt like an extension of my own arm as I carved the joints for a crib back in '82. I look at them now, and my hands, knotted with the arthritis of 70-odd years, can't hold them with the same certainty. The thought of applying the precise pressure needed to pare a sliver of oak makes my knuckles ache in protest. So they hang there, perfectly sharp, perfectly useless. They are no longer tools. They are relics of a man I used to be. They don't represent a cherished memory of fatherhood. They are a silent, daily reminder of physical decline. The space they occupy isn't just on the wall. It's in my mind, a small, heavy corner of my present that is forever owned by the past. That set of chisels is your spare room closet. The one packed with clothes from 1995 you might fit into again someday. It's the attic filled with your children's school projects and your late husband's fishing gear. They are ghosts, phantoms of past selves and deferred futures that haunt the hallways of your present life. Every time you glance at them, they steal a little bit of your vital energy, the precious fuel you need to live today, not to curate a museum of yesterday. They are not harmless objects. They are anchors holding you in place while the tide of your life goes out, for good. So I am asking you to listen to me. Listen with your full attention to what I am about to tell you now, because it may just save you from the quiet tragedy of a life spent serving your own history. I'm telling you this so that maybe, just maybe, you won't have to be as stubborn and as stupid as I was for so long. I knew a man named Robert. He was a carpenter, a true artisan, from a time when a man's worth was measured by the skill in his hands. His garage, built with his own two hands back in 1985, was his kingdom. The air inside was thick with the scent of cedar shavings, old motor oil, and the faint metallic smell of ambition. His tools weren't just hung on the pegboard. They were arranged like a surgeon's instruments, each one polished and in its rightful place. When you walked in, you felt you were stepping into a space of immense potential, a place where raw lumber was transformed into something beautiful and lasting. Robert wasn't a man of many words, but in that garage, surrounded by his projects and his plans, he was a poet. His silence was filled with the promise of what he would create next. It was a cathedral of capability, and he was its sole, devout worshiper. In the summer of 1998, his daughter Claire announced she was pregnant with his first grandchild. That's when the rocking horse began. He picked a perfect piece of cherry wood he'd been saving for years, a plank with a grain that flowed like water. He started on the head, carving the gentle curve of the muzzle, the flare of the nostrils. It was exquisite. The horse sat on his main workbench, a silent testament to a future joy. But then life, as it does, got in the way. A neighbor needed a fence mended. The roof on his own house developed a leak. There was always a more urgent task, a more practical project. The horse became a landmark in the landscape of his intentions. "I'll get back to it someday," he'd say, patting its smooth, unfinished head. That someday stretched into a month, then a year, then a decade. The horse waited patiently. Then came the fall of 2021. Not a dramatic, cinematic fall, just a simple, stupid misstep on the back porch stairs. The kind of accident that is a nuisance at 40, but a life-altering event at 81. The crack of the bone was a sound that ended an entire chapter of his life. After the hospital, the verdict was delivered in quiet, clinical tones. He couldn't live alone anymore. His balance was gone. His strength was compromised. The kingdom in the garage was officially closed. When his daughter Claire finally drove him to his new assisted living apartment, he looked back at the house, and I knew what he was seeing. He wasn't seeing the home he'd built a life in. He was seeing his locked garage, a place he could no longer enter, a testament to a strength he no longer possessed. The tools would now gather dust. The wood would wait for a hand that could no longer guide it. Weeks later, it fell to Claire to begin the terrible task of clearing out the house. I went over to help. She stood at the entrance to that garage, paralyzed. It was a physical wall of her father's life. Stacks of lumber, jars of screws sorted by size, half-finished birdhouses, cans of dried-up varnish. The air was stale, the smell of cedar now tinged with the musty odor of neglect. A single beam of afternoon sun cut through a grimy window, and it landed directly on the workbench. It illuminated the rocking horse, which was now covered in a fine gray layer of dust. It looked like a ghost. Claire walked slowly towards it, as if approaching a small grave. She reached out and wiped the dust from its head with the side of her hand, revealing the warm cherry wood beneath. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, her hand resting on that unfinished toy, and she began to weep. Her tears weren't for the overwhelming mess she had to clean up. She wasn't crying because her father was in a home. She was crying for the 23 years of some days that horse represented. All the Saturdays he had spent organizing his tools. All the evenings he spent sketching new plans. All the energy poured into maintaining this fortress of future projects. That energy could have finished this one small horse. Or better yet, it could have been spent taking that grandchild to the park. She saw with heartbreaking clarity that her father had spent the last quarter of his life as the curator of a museum of his own potential. The clutter wasn't the tragedy. The tragedy was the life he was always preparing to live, but never quite got around to. Robert's garage and my chisels are not unique. They are your reality, written in wood and steel. Your home is not just a physical space. It has become a precise map of your mind. Every cluttered countertop is a thought unfinished. Every box in the attic is a decision deferred. You lie awake at 3 a.m. and your brain isn't resting. It's taking inventory. It's walking through the spare room, now a mausoleum for your daughter's childhood. And it's feeling the weight of her long-gone presence. It's creeping into the back of the closet and trying on the ghost of a person you were in 1995. A person who could fit into those jeans. You are not living in your house. You are living with ghosts. These phantoms of past selves and abandoned futures pay you no rent. Yet they occupy the most valuable real estate you own. Your present moment, your peace of mind. This isn't memory. It's a constant low-grade haunting that drains your energy for the day ahead. We have been lied to. We've been told that what we accumulate is who we are. That the sum of our possessions equals the value of our life. This is a cruel fiction. You are not your late husband's hobby equipment. You are not the stacks of magazines with recipes you'll never cook. Letting go of these things is not an act of erasing your past or disrespecting a memory. It is a declaration of your own survival. It is the brave act of choosing the living person you are today over the artifacts of a life that is already lived. An empty surface is not a void. It is an opportunity for your mind to be silent. An empty room is not a loss. It is a canvas for the next chapter of your life. It is where you can paint, or write, or stretch, or simply sit with a cup of tea and watch the birds, unburdened. You must stop curating the museum of who you were, so you have the energy to fully inhabit the person you are still becoming. So let's begin. Not with a grand purge, not with a weekend of back-breaking labor, We begin with a single, quiet act of rebellion against yesterday. This is the sunset rule. It's simple. You never let the sun set on a dirty dish in your sink. This isn't about hygiene. A single dirty plate won't kill you. This is a daily pact you make with your future self. It's a declaration that you will not carry today's messes into tomorrow's peace. Every evening when you wash that last cup, you are giving the person you will be in the morning the gift of a clean slate. It's a tiny victory, yes, but it is a victory. It's a physical act that tells your tired mind, I am still in command here. Today is complete, and tomorrow I will start fresh. This is how you start buying back your life, one clean sink at a time. Next, you must defend your borders. Your home is not a public storage unit for the world's demands. Place a small, even beautiful basket right by the door where you enter. This is your point of entry bin. All mail, all keys, all receipts from your pocket, they go in there immediately. You are building a dam against the daily flood of paper and clutter. You are stopping the chaos at the gate. Then you enforce the one-touch rule for everything that comes in. You handle a piece of mail once. You either act on it, file it, or throw it away. You do not set it on the counter to become a problem for the person you will be tomorrow. Later is a mythical country where our more tired, less capable selves are forced to pay the debts of our present-day avoidance. We are ceasing all trade with later. Now for the closets. The dark places where guilt and old identities go to fester. We will not attack them. We will perform a gentle weekly ritual, the 10-minute closet edit. Once a week, set a timer for just 10 minutes. Go to one closet, one drawer, one shelf. Your mission is not to organize. Your mission is to find one single thing to let go of. That's it. One item. That dress you wore in 1995 isn't a testament to a former glory. It's a piece of fabric that whispers you're a failure for not fitting into it anymore. Letting it go is not surrender. It is liberation. You are training your letting go muscle, proving to your own stubborn heart that your identity is not stitched into the seams of a garment. You are more than a size. You are more than who you were. You are who you are choosing to become right now. Before you go to bed each night, you will perform an act of visual kindness for your future self. This is the flat surface mandate. You must choose one horizontal surface. It could be the kitchen counter, your dining table, the coffee table, and it must be completely clear. Remove everything. Wipe it down. In a world full of visual noise, a clear, open surface is an island of profound calm. It's a patch of silence for your eyes and your mind. When you wake at 3 a.m. with that familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach, Your gaze won't fall upon a pile of pending tasks. It will land on an empty space, a visual lullaby that tells your subconscious all is well. There is room to breathe here. You can rest. This isn't about being tidy. It's a powerful, non-negotiable act of mental self-care. We must also make a new pact with our bodies. The mind may still think it's 45, but the joints and the spine keep a more honest calendar. This is the energy first calculation. Before you start any task in your home, from cleaning the windows to sorting a box from the attic, you must stop and ask one crucial question. Do I honestly have the physical and emotional energy for this today? If the answer is a resounding yes, then proceed. But if there is any hesitation, if your body whispers no, you must listen. You either do a much smaller, 15-minute version of the task, or you do nothing at all. This isn't giving up. It is an act of profound respect for the new reality of your life. Your energy is now your most precious, non-renewable asset. It is worth more than a perfectly organized garage. Now let's talk about the big things. The furniture, the collections, that formal dining room set that seats 12, a relic from a time of grand holiday dinners that no longer happen. The cabinet full of fine china you're too afraid to use. These are not assets. They are paid employees that you now have to manage. Your job is to dust them, protect them, and worry about them. I want you to fire them. Sell that dining set. Take the money and buy the most comfortable armchair you can find, a soft throw blanket, and a good lamp. You are trading the burden of hosting a party for the luxury of reading a book in comfort. Sell the china and use the cash to take your daughter to a nice lunch once a month. You are converting the dead weight of your past into the living, breathing currency of today. After all this letting go, we must choose what remains. This is the most sacred task of all. I want you to find one small, beautiful box. Not a plastic tub or a cardboard carton from the attic. Something made of wood or velvet or inlaid with mother of pearl. This is your legacy box. Inside this box, you will place only the handful of items that tell the true story of your soul. A dried flower from your wedding bouquet. The first letter your husband ever wrote you. A single photograph of you at 20, full of foolish, beautiful hope. Your father's worn-out pocket knife. You are not choosing what your children might want. You are choosing what is undeniably you. This is the ultimate act of love. You are relieving them of the terrible burden of guessing what mattered, and instead handing them a clear, potent story of a life well lived. Do this exercise with me now. Don't just sit there and nod. Look around the room you're in. Look at your shelves, your tables, the piles in the corner. What are you keeping that is keeping you? What object in your line of sight represents a someday that is actively stealing the joy from your today. I want you to go to the comments section right now and tell us what it is. Not for me, for you. Writing it down makes it real. Let's turn this space into a circle of shared wisdom. Tell us, which of these ghosts is the hardest to exorcise? Is it the clothes of a thinner you, the books you feel you should have read, the half-finished projects of a person you used to be? Your honesty will be the permission someone else here desperately needs to finally let their own burden go. The cost of ignoring this is a silent, creeping thief. The consequence is not just a messy house, it's a shrunken life. It's the decade you spend as a reluctant zookeeper for your own possessions. It's the invitations from friends you turn down because the house is a mess and you're too busy. It's the physical manifestation of a fall, a broken hip from tripping over a box of magazines from 2003 you meant to sort 3 years ago. An accident which steals your independence in a single brutal instant. Your body needs a home that helps it now, not one that hurts it. It needs clear pathways. It needs a bathtub you can get out of without grabbing onto a wobbly towel rack. Your house should be your partner in aging, a safe harbor. Instead, for many, it becomes a treacherous obstacle course. And the price for not clearing the path is your freedom, your autonomy, the very ability to live in the home you love. And what about the legacy you leave? It becomes a logistical nightmare for your children, a project tinged with a quiet resentment. They will love you, but they will hate your stuff. Their grief for you will be tangled up in the sheer, overwhelming task of dismantling your life, one dusty box at a time. They won't be remembering your laugh. They will be negotiating the price of a dumpster rental. You can't take out a loan for more time in retirement. You can't borrow energy against your future health. This is it. The ultimate, most bitter regret is the one that comes in the final accounting. The realization that your most precious, non-renewable asset, your time on this earth, was squandered. It was spent dusting things, organizing things, and worrying about things, instead of simply living. Simply being present for one more conversation, one more sunset. Once you've done that, your real homework begins. Take a piece of paper and a pen. I want you to write down 3 things you are currently saving for someday. It could be that bottle of expensive wine, the fancy guest towels you never use, or a phone call to an old friend you've been putting off. Now, I want you to take your pen and physically cross out the word someday. Next to each item, write a new, non-negotiable deadline. This week. This is your pact with the present. This is the real work we do here. It's not about pretty containers. It's about buying back your time. If you are ready to stop being a curator and start being a participant in your own life, then make a commitment. Subscribe to this channel. It's your declaration that you choose to walk with lightness. Now go. Go use the good towels. Go make the phone call. Go live your life. I'll see you in the next one.